I find the beliefs of the collective have more influence on me than I would Um, like the aging process that you mentioned, cells dying and all that. I know that that doesn't have to happen, and I'm not interested in living forever. I'm interested in being strong and healthy and comfortable in my body. But these beliefs are just there, and I'd like to be able to let them go. So, but then you also mentioned something that I find very interesting is that my path, there's some kind of path that I'm on. So when I try to let go of some of those collective beliefs, I think, well, maybe I'm on some kind of path that won't allow me to take a different road. Does that make sense?
It does, but by path we mean any sort of circumstance that comes up that is against or seems to be against the belief systems that you are letting go of. We will address this in a clear fashion. The only reason why your collective believes that cells die and degenerate is because holding on to that belief allows them to have a sense of security that, although not possible, that if they know that, they can find some sort of trick to prevent this from occurring. It is based on fear that the belief itself exists. In other words, you have chosen to believe that your bodies age and die in some sort of horrendous manner in order to see if you can figure out how to reverse it. And in fact, much of your collective is spending its energy on trying to regain youth at all points, as opposed to learning what is more relevant for the collective, which is that each chapter of one's life is absolutely beautiful for its way. The reason why so many people who are older are in a state of suffering is directly related not to their age, but to their belief that there is already something detrimental about that. So, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? You have heard of cultures and civilizations on your planet that do revere the elderly or those who are in a golden age for their wisdom, for the beauty. They are able to count the wrinkles on their face like the rings of a tree and say, look how wise. This being deserves our respect for their authority in the lives that they have lived. See each scar, see each wrinkle, how beautiful. If only I can one day demonstrate the days of my life on my face, how beautiful would that be? The culture you are in now is a little bit confused about this concept. But nature did not make you to be youthful forever. It did not make you to be a child forever. It did not make you to be an adolescent forever, nor a fertile adult, nor a post-fertility adult. It did not make you to be static. And it does not mean the cells are dying. Death, as you know, especially death of cells, is simply energy transmuting into something else, freeing up something else for you. It is quite an investment to be young in terms of energy. And then as you are older, there's more of an investment towards your spiritual nature. The less physical you are, the more spiritual you are able to access. We know that these are not usual concepts, but you can allow yourself to begin to think in these terms and thereby allow yourself to step outside of those belief systems because they do not serve you any longer. They serve you for as long as you believe that you are in the process of a slow death. But as soon as you realize you are in the process of an evolution towards your non-physical beingness, then you will understand that it does have some value or much value to be exactly where you are in your physical process. And as you do get older, yes, your body does communicate with you more clearly. It is not that a younger person is more full of health and an older person by default is less full of health. It is that an older person by default is full of more wisdom and their body can communicate with them faster. Whether or not they take on that communication and make the decisions towards taking care of themselves, towards prioritizing their well-being, or towards the resolution of their soul's journey within their time is up to them, of course. And we did mention, yes, there are paths So, if ever upon your path you come across an ailment that seems bigger than you, it is not necessarily because you have done something wrong, but because that is exactly what is serving you in that now moment in order to achieve all of the desires that you have put for yourself. And we will use the term of our friend in the vortex.
So, my soul's path. Um, Anything you see that I might understand as far as what my soul's path in this incarnation is? Or do I not actually want to know?
Well, it is not entirely like that because with every step you make, you are choosing the path as you lay it out in front of you. So let
Okay.
us give the example of someone who wants a delightful relationship. They may find a delightful relationship by working through all of their blocks or issues about worthiness. And they may meet that person walking down the street to the post office. Another person may want a delightful relationship, or even the same person. And instead of going to the post office that day, they step out in front of a bicycle in traffic and have to go to the hospital. Lo and behold, the doctor is their love of their life. So, was it a tragedy truly that they stepped out in front of the bicycle, or was it the path that they were on to meet that particular person? Also, it may not even be that doctor. It may be down the road when 10 years later, every time it rains, their broken leg aches. And so they decide not to go to a party the day it is raining because their leg is bothering them a little bit. And the doorbell rings and someone is delivering a package, and lo and behold, that is the love of their life. The universe will find any way to bring you what it is you are wanting, as long as you are accepting the ways in which it brings it to you and have an anticipation that this and this and this and this is simply part of the storyline that will lead me to everything I am wanting, good or bad, the way you perceive of it is up to you. Then you can live your life with a sense of adventure.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
I think I've been around aging people, and I've seen so many of them go through this really uncomfortable ending. And I would rather not go that way.
Yes.
And I know, like you just said, that it could be certain things are answering my requests, and I could meet that doctor or could, you know, but, uh, and I guess it's just speaking from fear.
Yes.
So, well, please tell me I won't have to go through that. I don't mind dying. I just don't want to become decrepit and fall apart. And
We cannot tell you that that is the case from the place that you are in, because it is what you are focused on. Not to say either that that is the case, but what we are
right.
saying is that you do have the opportunity to focus on every other thing right now in this now moment. You do have quite a lot of vitality, we will tell you, compared to, yes, many people on the planet, both of your age and also not of your age. And so, in a celebration of that, as opposed to a fear, and we would also recommend to not spend time with people that are demonstrating the reality that you do not want to have. Not to say to abandon your friends, but to understand that their journey is their journey and is perfect for them. But it is not your journey. You can have your preferences. You can see what you don't want and say, thank you very much for the example of showing me what it is I am not heading towards, so that I can then appreciate what it is I am heading towards. You will be, if you choose to be, and if it is what you are truly in your best interest, vital up until the last days. So you can simply decide that that is the case and enjoy every now day up until then. But please remember that every time you are worried about this subject, you are already ruining your today.
Yeah, I know. It's it is somewhat frustrating because I know better. I what you're saying, I've heard before, maybe not all of it, but the general idea. And I keep thinking, I know this. So it needs to be on a more internalized level, I guess.
We would suggest for you to stop looking at reality. In other words, There is an aspect of you, a belief within you, that is saying, because of my number associated with the amount of times the sun has been in orbit, or we have been in orbit of the sun,
Mm-hmm.
then I must mean this, this, and this. How about, for the moment, you imagine that you take 20 years off of that number? Simply remove a 2 from that number and
Okay.
live your life as if you are 20 years younger. We know, because you are holding this belief that is not serving you, that if you were 20 years younger, you would be making different decisions.
That's a very good idea. Thank you.
We thank you, and you will have much fun.
Fun is so important, and I think I'm too serious. I'm not sure why.
It is the theme of our day. Today we have had many conversations. This is why you are on this day having this meeting with us. So we will say what we have said to others who are wanting more fun, that you can and do need to experiment with it. You can make it your project for this month or this week to see and attempt as many fun things as possible. Take notes, even if you are a logical person who likes to evaluate things in that way. And evaluate. Does a comedy show make me laugh? Does playing with a cat make me laugh? Does this feel good to me? Does that feel good to me? Do an experiment for yourself. And then as you find those things that rank high on your experiment, practice them as if they were a vitamin, as if it was a prescription from a doctor. Because sometimes it is that muscle that simply has not been worked out for some period of time. Yes, because there are issues in life, because there are tragedies, because there are responsibilities, because there simply hasn't been time. But as you are getting to know yourself again and playing and blowing bubbles, why not? Then please take note of what does feel good in that way, what does feel delightful in that way, and do it more and more often so that it becomes part of who you are again.
Thank you. That's a very good idea. I like that. I find myself being too serious and trying to plan ahead and trying to make things happen and fix things. Or,
I plan to have fun.
okay, that's a very good idea.